Should I rent before I buy, and how do I find a rental in the place I'm looking to move? If those are questions you've been asking yourself, then stay tuned because that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi everyone, I'm Courtney Chankis with Charles Rottenberg Realty here in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Today we're talking about moving to a new place and potentially having to rent for a short term and finding a rental that works for you in order to make that process happen. Making a move from one state to the next can be challenging emotionally, physically, and logistically. If you have to sell your current home, there might be some time where you don't have a home to live in if you're looking for a new place or waiting to build. So the only solution in that situation may be to rent. This is a great short-term option because it lets you immerse yourself in the community that you plan to live, potentially send your kids to the schools to see if they like it, and become a part of the town that you want to move to before your house is ready or before you find the right house. You get to become a part of your new home while waiting to actually be in your new home. So how do you know where to look for a good rental, especially if you're not there to look at them in person or you're not familiar with the area? A real estate agent can certainly lead you in the right direction. However, a lot of rentals are handled by property management companies or rental companies, and sometimes it's easier to go with them directly. So here's what we would recommend doing if you find yourself in this situation. Step 1, visit the area. Register yourself at the information center with the realtor you plan on working with, and just start exploring the neighborhood so you have an idea of whether or not you even like this location and where you might potentially want to live. If you decide to build, then you can get that set up and then find a rental while you wait for your home to be built. If you're still just not sure where you want to be, then you can find a rental in one of the communities that you're considering, and that way you get to experience it firsthand before you find the right house for you. Step 2, look online for some possible rentals. One company that we recommend is Pathlight Property Management, and they own properties in many different cities, and they rent them out for short-term and longer-term leases. They have a great website that gives you all the information on their monthly fees for the rental, as well as whether or not they allow pets, square footage of the home, pictures, they'll do virtual tours, things like that. It makes it really convenient to look at a property and get a feel for whether or not that's the right fit for you for the length of your rental. Step 3, continue searching for the right home while you're living in your rental. It's been a debate for decades as to whether or not renting versus buying is better, and truthfully, it all depends on your situation. When purchasing a home, you obviously have more equity in your investment because you can then sell the home and potentially make money back. You're also investing in something tangible when you spend that money every month versus a rental where, yes, you're paying to live there, but that money isn't going towards anything that could potentially reimburse you in the future. It's also debated which one is more cost effective, and again, that could depend on your financial situation. However, here are some fun facts to know. The percentage of your income needed to rent a median priced home is about 27.7% right now. Rentals are pretty expensive, especially in areas like this where they're desirable. So that's something to consider if it's not an option that you need to make or take. At the same time, the percentage of your income needed to buy a median priced home is only 17.5%. Interest rates are low. You can get a great deal on your mortgage, not a great deal, but a great rate, which keeps your payment down, and therefore buying may be a better long-term investment for you. Some of the questions you can ask yourself in order to determine if renting is better than buying are: how long do you plan to live in the area? Do you want to maintain flexibility, or are you trying to find a more stable living environment? Do you have money for a down payment, or are you working on repairing your credit history? Do you want the freedom to be able to change the space that you live in and kind of customize your options? And do you want to build equity in your investment over time? Depending on which way you answer those questions could lead you to determine if it's better for you to rent or buy long term. Homeownership has a lot of factors that you want to take into consideration, but we highly recommend looking at that as an option for long term versus renting, and renting as a short term option while you figure out where you want to live forever. or at least the next 10 years. Lakewood Ranch offers some rental options as far as apartments and condos. Some of those include Creekside, Residences at the Green, and the Adley at Lakewood Ranch. Those are all apartments that you can rent for short-term, long-term, kind of depends on what you're looking for. The Gulf communities such as Esplanade and Lakewood National have many condos that are available for seasonal rentals or short-term month-to-month leases, and that might be an option if you want to come and just experience the community for a couple of weeks, get a feel for your surroundings. And they're also opening a new single-family rental community called Estia Lakewood Ranch, and it's going to feature 1 and 2 bedroom single-family homes, but that are just purely for rental. So you can't buy one, but you can rent one. It's located close to Bob Gardner Park, which is a great spot. They're just not large homes, so that's a good option for someone who doesn't need a lot of space for their rental period, or if you just want to get acquainted with the community while you wait to decide where you want to live. That will be opening probably this summer. They just started working on that, and they will have models available to look at as well. Overall, it comes down to what works best for you and your situation. We're happy to help point you in the right direction, and many agents will do the same, but ultimately we would encourage you to look into the option of buying a home because that might be a better long-term investment of your money. On the other side, if you do need a short-term rental and there's no way around that, then obviously there are some great options, and I'm sure that goes for any city that you're looking in. I recommend definitely asking for referrals or opinions from people who have used certain websites for rentals. You want to make sure that you're going with a trustworthy source. Zillow.com offers a lot of rental options, but you just want to double check those, that they're not a scam or somebody just, putting a house that's not actually for rent. So definitely do your homework. Probably have additional questions about the mortgage industry right now and if home buying is the right move for you, and some other details that might help make this decision easier. So we teamed up with Consumer Advocate, who did a great job putting together an all-inclusive guide, if you will, about the mortgage industry and how current rates are impacting buyers' decisions and how you can shop around for a home from home in this new era of COVID-19 precautions. Their strategic guide uncomplicates concepts of the mortgage market that are up to date in the current economic state of the industry. They have infographics in simple terms that make it easy to understand and help narrow down the best options for you as a buyer. So you can click the link down below to go to our blog post and download this free guide. So it's a great guide to help you, and that might make your decision easier if you really are debating renting versus buying long term. And if you're just looking at buying and maybe you need to rent for a month, this will still give you a better all-inclusive idea of where the industry is, how it impacts you, and what financial decisions might make the most sense in your current situation. So be sure to check that out. If you go to our blog page, it'll be there. If you have more questions on this topic or need some advice and a direction to go, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. And again, I'm Courtney Chankis with Charles Rutenberg Realty here in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Thanks for watching.